This class we are going to discuss about local self-governing bodies in the rural areas. So before we move on to the local self-government, we have to understand what these are. So as the word itself is suggesting, local self-government. So that means it is a form of government which is working at the local level where people themselves govern themselves. So to make it more simpler, first you need to understand the entire structure, what is happening in the country. So you know that in the country, first we have the central level where the central government is working. Then coming down below, we have the state levels. Then the states are bifurcated into different districts. The districts are divided into blocks and the blocks are divided into villages. So the basic purpose is to divide the entire country into smaller structures so that it is easy to administer, it is easy to rule and govern. So for that purpose, the central government is looking after the interest of the whole country and the state government is managing everything related to the administration of the state. But at the local village level or at the block level, district level, we need other bodies who can manage the local affairs at that level. And so for that purpose, local self-government becomes very important part of the system. And this local self-government, as you can see in the picture, is of two types. Either it may be a rural local self-government or an urban local self-government. Rural is in the village area and urban are the towns and cities. So basically, what is this local self-government? So the definition is very important, that the local self-government is an institution comprising locally elected representatives managing the affairs of the locality and providing them with basic necessities. So what is a local self-government? So it is just an institution, it is a form of system which has people who are locally elected by the representatives. That means from among ourselves, supposingly if the whole class is a village, so from among ourselves we locally choose, we elect our representatives, and those representatives, they take care of all the affairs of that particular locality. Especially they take care of the civic amenities, the basic amenities like drinking water, electricity, schools, parks, these kind of basic utilities, they are managed by these local self-government. And in the rural area, this institution is called a panchayat, and in the urban area, it is called a municipal corporation or municipality. So this becomes very important. I'm just explaining you again. Local self-government, as the word itself is saying, it is an institution where the people are governing themselves locally. So from among themselves, they are choosing a representative who is looking after the basic necessities and the civic amenities of that locality. In the rural area, it is called a panchayat, and in the urban area, it is called a municipal corporation or a municipality. Now, what is the difference between local government and local self-government? So do not get confused. They are two different terms. Local government is a term where the officers who are working, they are appointed by the state, like police officers or chowkidars in the village, or patwari is a person who takes revenue from the village. Such people, or the postmen, they are appointed by the district and they are given a salary by the district or the state, and they do not have any say in the administration or affair of that locality. They are just doing certain services for money. But in local self-government, when the word self-government comes, the people themselves, they have chosen those representatives. And their job is to provide civic amenities like sanitation, education, settling of dispute in the case of Nyaya Panchayat. And these people, they are governing themselves, and the state may help them by giving them grants. That means money, so that they can implement their plans with that money, with that grant. So remember, local government, basically they are just people who are appointed by the state with a salary, and they just do their services. They do not have any say in the administration. But the local self-government, they have a say in the administration because they are locally represented people, and they get grants from the government for performing different civic amenities. Basically, the other part, the significance of the local self-government is actually not, or the salient features of the constitution, they are not a part of the syllabus. We will now move to Panchayati Raj system. But before we do, just a simple small explanation as to why is this local self-government so important. So basically, when you come to think of it, this local self-government becomes very important because it is giving the people at the local level the responsibility of handling their affairs. It's not practically possible for the Prime Minister or the Chief Minister to look into the smaller details of every small district and village. So for that purpose, giving power to that local village or the local block or district is very important. So secondly, it eases the burden of the central and the state government. Thirdly, it makes the people more self-reliable and more independent. They can take care of their own affairs. Then fourthly, actually local people are in a better position to know the situation that is affecting them, and they can take better actions quickly. Rather than, if there is some disaster, if a help comes from state or the central government, the quicker way to do is first the local self-government. The people there, they will seize power and they will help. So because of these smaller things, there are many such advantages that this local self-government has. And we should not forget that by the end of the day, we are a democracy, and democracy is for the people, of the people, by the people. So if we are saying that we are a democracy, we have to give power to the people even at the smallest level, at the grassroots level. So that is why this system of local self-government is very, very important. Now that brings us to the Panchayati Raj system. You can see a triangle in this picture. Above this triangle, you can expect two other things: central government, then state government, then the three. Zilla Parishad is at the district level, at the block level is Panchayat Samiti, and at the village level is Gram Panchayat. Basically, these three levels that you are seeing in this picture, they together are called the Panchayati Raj institution. So it is a three-tier system. So that means there are three divisions. Firstly, at the top of the system is the district, and at the district level, the local self-governing body working is called the Zilla Parishad. Zilla is the Hindi word for district. Then the districts are divided into different blocks, and at the block, the body which is working is called the Panchayat Samiti or the Block Samiti. And these blocks are further divided into smaller villages, and each village is under a Gram Panchayat. 3-4 villages together, they may even have a Nyay Panchayat for the purpose of having justice and settling of disputes. So that is what is written here. The three-tier system comprises of the Gram Panchayat at village level, Panchayat Samiti at block level or middle level, and Zilla Parishad at the district level. In addition, a Nyay Panchayat has been provided for every 3 or 4 village panchayats. I hope this is clear to all of you. Panchayati Raj, this three-tier system is very, very important. Now, what are the qualifications for election to the local self-governing bodies? So for a person to be elected to any local self-governing body, either a panchayat or a municipality, they should have these qualifications. Firstly, they have to be a citizen of India, and they have to be at least 21 years old. So they have to be a citizen of India and above the age of 21. Secondly, they have to be a registered voter in the case of panchayat, member of Gram Sabha in that constituency. So what is this Gram Sabha? Basically, the village system has 3 bodies: Gram Sabha, Gram Panchayat and Nyay Panchayat. Gram Sabha is the general body of the Gram Panchayat. Basically, Gram Sabha are all the adult members of that village who have a voter ID card. So basically, for the second criteria is that if they want to be a member of that Gram Panchayat, they have to be a registered voter in that Gram Sabha. That means that adult has to be a voter in that particular village Gram Sabha. Third, he should not be a convict, or he should not have been disqualified by law of the parliament or an undischarged insolvent. Convict is a prisoner or a person who is guilty of some crime. So a person who wants to be in the local self-government, he should not be guilty of a crime. He should not be disqualified by a particular law. That means even if he's charged and if he's found guilty, or if he has broken some law, he cannot be a part of the local self-governing body. Or if he is an undischarged insolvent. What does this undischarged insolvent mean? So a person who has borrowed a huge sum loan and debt from the government but has not paid it. So basically that person who is bankrupt and who has taken debt from the government and not repaid it, that person becomes an undischarged insolvent. So any person who is applying for a local self-government cannot be a convict. He cannot be a prisoner. He cannot be disqualified by any particular law, or he cannot be an undischarged insolvent. And lastly, he should not hold any office of profit under the central or state government. So basically, he cannot be holding one job in the central government or the state government and another job in the local self-governing body. He has to leave the other job for the simple reason that he can be making money from both the sides. So he can hold only one job, not two. And basically, what is the term? So the Constitution by the 73rd Amendment Act in 1992 in Part 9A mentions that every municipality, either the municipality in the urban area or the panchayat in the rural area, they will have a fixed term of 5 years. So the term of every local self-governing body is 5 years. So basically today we have covered the most important thing is the definition of the local self-government. So a local self-government is an institution comprising of locally elected representatives managing the affairs of the locality and providing them with basic amenities. What are the two types? In the village level, rural area, they are called panchayat, and in the urban area, they are called municipal corporation or municipality. Then what is the Panchayati Raj system? So the three-tier system, Gram Panchayat at the village level, Panchayat Samiti at the block level, and Zilla Parishad at the district level. Together it is called the Panchayati Raj system. And in addition, Nyay Panchayat is there for every 3 or 4 village panchayats. What are the qualifications? Must be a citizen of India above the age of 21, must be a registered voter and a member of the Gram Sabha in their constituency, should not be a convict or disqualified by law or undischarged insolvent, and should not hold any office of profit under the central or state government. What is the term of the local self-governing body? So according to the 73rd Amendment Act 1992, in Part 9A, it's mentioned that both rural and urban local self-governing body will have a fixed term of 5 years. So I hope today's class is clear to all of you. In the next class, we will start the Panchayati Raj system. We will start with the Gram Panchayat and then move to Block Samiti and Zilla Parishad. So please read it from the book. It should be very, very clear to you and ask your doubt. Thank you.